The KDUS AM 1060 app, make sure you download it. You register. You're logged in while you're listening. You get an opportunity to win prizes for doing so. You can take the station with you on the go. The best way to listen to the station. Maybe you want to see the show. You can do so via the KDUS 1060 YouTube channel. Just search KDUS AM 1060 on YouTube, and we're live right now. I just waved to the camera there on YouTube. So if you want to see the visual product, you want to see the video version of the show, you can do so over there. Producer Corey, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you know whose headphones I'm wearing today?
I think those are our spare.
Those are our spare. Good. Then you know what? I'm glad we have a spare set here in the studio because
Yes.
I'm going to let everybody in on some behind the scenes. About 30 seconds before we went on the air, I plugged in my headphones.
Yeah.
And I put them in. And I usually have the in-ear earbuds.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I have in my office. Those are the ones I just carry around with me. And I plugged them in. I was only hearing stuff out of one ear.
Oh.
And I could have done it. I could have battled through. It's a Monday.
Yeah.
Right? I could be a trooper. I've got a lot of great stuff to get to. I'm about to make a major declaration about the Phoenix Suns here in about 2 seconds. I could have pushed through. But I saw these headphones off to the side. And I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot.
Yeah.
I've put these on over my. I'm listening to a totally different show, totally different station. It's just wild to me. These are so different than the in-ear ones.
Oh.
Like the sound is so much better.
Yeah.
I was missing out with the in-ear ones.
No, yeah, full-on headphones are always better.
Oh yeah, I think now on my way home I'm going to stop and get myself a pair, or I'm just going to continue to use the spare until we figure out whose they are.
Yeah.
But boy, was that almost a disaster before the show because again, the mild inconvenience. I could have done the show, but
Yeah.
only hearing. Because I hear myself in my ear to make sure I'm not, like, screaming. And so to only hear that out of one ear is incredibly, like, disorienting for me doing the show. And so I needed to scramble and find something. Luckily enough, there were these headphones right here next to me. And so I grabbed those, and I sound nice and crisp in my ears.
Yeah.
Now. This is so much better than
The quality jump is insane.
I have a declaration to make about the Phoenix Suns. They went 2-0 over the weekend, beat the Jazz on Friday, beat the Portland Trail Blazers on Sunday. So some of you might think this declaration a little out of bounds. Maybe the timing isn't right. But I'm sitting around on Friday. We'll do a little story time here before I make the declaration. I'm sitting around on Friday, getting ready to enjoy a weekend. Took the family to dinner. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden I see on my phone that Bradley Beal, it's a game time decision. Some swelling in his knee. And then we get closer to tip. Bradley Beal's not playing. And so Bradley Beal didn't play against the Utah Jazz. And Bradley Beal didn't play last night against the Portland Trail Blazers. So just after we spent all week, they're getting Kevin Durant back. Here's their chance the next 15, 20 games. They can chart the course, pick a direction, either be successful and we can see this through, or these injuries are going to continue to pop up and we're just be bad and we can make the decision to cut our losses here and blow this whole thing up, right? That was what we talked all last week about. We couldn't make it a second into the game on Friday. A second. We didn't even get to the tip-off before Bradley Beal was out of the lineup before Kevin Durant could return. So you know what? I'm ready to do it. I know they went 2-0 over the weekend. I'm ready to do it. I'm out on the rest of the season for the Phoenix Suns. I am done. D-O-N-E, capital letters, bold, underline, italics, done.
Full on? It's not even New Year's yet.
I am done. I'm out. This team's not going anywhere. This team is not going to the Western Conference Finals. This team's not winning a championship. They are cooked. We couldn't even get Kevin Durant back for one game from the last injury before a new injury for the other injured star popped up. I know they went 2-0. They played Utah and Portland.
Yes.
So spare me if I'm not going to allow those two games against those two opponents to sway me from this position. I quote tweeted the news after, I think it was Dwayne Rankin of the Arizona Republic reported that it seemed unlikely that Beal was going to go. And I said, we can't have anything nice. This team is broken. They're a flawed team, designed in a way that is incredibly flawed, built with two stars who seemingly can't stay healthy, a third star who, while playing great over the weekend, and we're going to get into this in hour number 2, is not the player that he's been in recent years. This team is broken. And I understand that I am saying this on the Monday after they won 2 games. They beat Utah and Portland. So allow me to not change my opinion because they beat two teams at the bottom part of the Western Conference playoff tree. I'm good. I'm done. I don't need to see anything. I don't need to see a 10-game stretch of this altogether. I'm good. I am not going to allow myself to try to convince myself that all this team needs is one good 10, 15, 20-game stretch with everybody healthy to buy back in. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's going to be short-lived. Because while we might get that 10, 15-game, 20-game stretch where they're all healthy, you just know. Because you've got 4 examples already this season that it's not going to last. And so I'm sorry. I am not going to exert my energy, exert my time, watching a team that I know isn't going to be the team that it is supposed to be for the rest of the season. Kevin Durant couldn't come back. Missed a week. We got all excited last week. Kevin Durant's coming back. Not a 2-week injury, just a 1-week injury. He's going to be back in the lineup on Friday. Big 3. We know what their record is when Kevin Durant is in the lineup. And by the way, it continued because they won both games over the weekend. And before the officials could get into the building on Friday, Bradley Beal out. Bradley Beal missing both games over the weekend. What am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to say into this microphone to you all? That things are going to be okay? That he's going to come back and we are going to see the big 3 in action? This is a flawed team. They are built with a big 3 that never play as a big 3. You can't win that way in the NBA. You can't do it. You are already bucking the trend. Everybody is moving away from this as a philosophy. They're going to the dynamic duo. You are back in the old era of the Miami Heat, the Golden State Warriors with the big 3. You are playing an old school version of basketball. You can't play that version of basketball with a big 3 and only have 2 of the big 3 on the floor. It's not sustainable. You can beat the Utahs of the world with it. You can beat the Trailblazers of the world with it, especially when it's Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But you have built this house of cards on the idea of a big 3. And just like we had this same conversation last year, we are having the same conversation again this year. They can't stay healthy. So I'm good. I'm done. I'm putting myself on the record here. This team is not going to go far in the Western Conference playoffs. This team is not going to be in the Western Conference finals. This team is not making the NBA finals. They're not winning a championship. You can mark it down. December 16th, 2024, Chris is out on the Phoenix Suns. I'm out. So we're going to mark it down that this is the day that I said I'm good. I don't need to see anymore. I don't need to try to twist myself into a pretzel to convince myself that if Bradley Beal can just come back and they can play 15 or 20 games together, that I'll convince myself that they are championship contenders.
Yeah, too many ifs.
Because I can continue to do this. We know that AI is emerging in every field, right?
Yes.
And it is kind of impacting our field.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, personality is what drives this industry.
Yes.
Talk radio, right? You can't replicate my energy level right now. You can't replicate my personality, right?
Yeah.
You could, when it comes to this topic, you could have AI record a segment about the Phoenix Suns. Well, if the big 3 are healthy, they're a championship contender. But when they're not healthy, they're a lottery team.
It could have been it last year even.
And we could just replay it. You could put it on the soundboard here, and anytime we wanted to talk about the Phoenix Suns, I could press it like I press the NFL music or the Daily Special Open. That's what this team has been refined to. That's what they are. They are not a team that deserves the energy right now. They had a great weekend. I hate that we got to a Monday here and the prevailing thought is, whew, without Bradley Beal, they were able to get through the weekend. They won 2 games. Okay, now we got to refocus. And I know the schedule is extremely favorable to them. And I know they're probably going to stack up some wins here. But we have to look at this through the big picture, through the 35,000-foot view of championship or not. And to me, on December 16, 2024, I'm ready to say it. This team not winning a championship. This team not going to the Western Conference Finals. I would go as far as to say we are watching a rerun of last year. And when this thing ends in a first-round exit, just like it did a year ago, Maybe you win a game or two. Maybe you force a series to a game 7. But I think we are barreling down towards watching this team do the same thing they did a year ago. Flame out in the first round of the playoffs. Like a fire that needs the extra log, right? You're sitting around the fire at night. You start it. You're hanging out. You're talking with friends. All of a sudden, 30 minutes later, you look down. Need some more wood on there because the fire's starting to burn out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Phoenix Suns are going to be. That's what they are going to be. And so I am starting this week off with a declaration. The Phoenix Suns, in my mind, are done. December 16th, 2024. I am ready to put it on the bulletin board. We can mark it down. We will either play this back, and I will be extremely vindicated, or we will play this back while the Suns are sweeping everybody in the playoffs and going to the NBA Finals, and I will raise my hand and say I was wrong. But you know what? All of the evidence right now is on my side of the argument. So if you want to continue to believe, if you want to think that this team's all of a sudden going to find something that they haven't been able to find, which is health, if you think they're going to find that at some point, more power to you. You are setting yourself up for disappointment. You are setting yourself up for failure. I am choosing today to get off the ride. I'm good. I don't need the fast pass. I don't want to be on this ride in this line anymore. I will go do something else.